Hello and welcome to this episode of Issues of the Mind. Today we shall be talking about something very different from our regular theme. We are looking at war. And the specific war we want to look at is the war that broke on the 28th of February 2026. US and Israel waging war against Iran. To give you a little bit of context, US and Israel, attacked Iran, very late at night, killing their supreme leader by the name Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, and his wife, his grandchildren, daughter, and so on and so forth, and many members of his family, as well as 47 other leaders. This has escalated into a massive war, and since then, Iran has retaliated, attacking US military bases all over the Middle East, even as far as Cyprus. Now, someone is saying that, how is this my business? But stay with me for a moment. In a couple of minutes, you will see how this affects every one of us. All right, so this war between US, Israel, and Iran, the idea is that Iran is very advanced in technology. They are producing drones. They are producing a type of drone called the Shahed that is able to wreak a lot of havoc, and they've mass produced it in several thousands of quantities. Maybe they have like 30,000 or even more in their arsenal. And on top of that, historically, Iran has been known to be very well ahead in their nuclear program. But this program has been halted, or slowed down by several administrations of the United States for the past 45, 46 years. But I will tell you that Donald Trump is not even buying all the ideas, what was done by Barack Obama, and he wants an absolute end to what's going on, in Iran. But Iran, as a sovereign nation, would like to develop their nuclear, weapon, just as many other, US has it, Israel has it, many other countries, top countries have it. So Iran would like to have it in the Middle East. But Israel likes to be the dominant force in the Middle East. All right. So today, as this war has continued, people have died on both sides. Several thousands of people have been injured. So, and a lot of properties have been destroyed across the Middle East. Lebanon, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Bahrain, and so on and so forth. But one thing that I want you to know is that Iran is one of the largest supplier of crude oil, producers of oil in the world. Are you beginning to see how this relates to us? Someone might say, oh, if I'm in Nigeria, for instance, what's my business with all of this? Nigeria does not produce petrol. Nigeria produces crude oil. All right. So if crude oil, if there is problem in the supply chain, it affects any country that imports, petrol. Thankfully, we have a company, the Dangote, group, that is now producing some oil in Nigeria, but not to the quantity that can cater for the need of the entire country. What I also want to point out is the fact that there is a place called Hormuz in Iran, which is the largest water that half of the economic transaction activities, goods, movement of goods and services in the world actually pass through from Africa and the Middle East to Asia. This water has been locked down as we speak. The President of the United States made a claim recently that goods are now passing through Hormuz. But I want to tell you that what we've known so far is that Iran locked down, that water, that nothing must pass through that water. The implication of this is that goods and services, especially crude oil, is not moving to Asia. Take, for instance, Japan imports most of its crude oil from, across Hormuz from the Middle East. If this war were to last for 4 to 5 months, some analysts have predicted that it could lead to, a collapse of the Japanese economy. That is just one country out of all the nations that can be impacted. Someone is saying that, can you fast forward and talk about how it affects Nigeria? Let's talk about the implications, far-reaching implications to countries such as Nigeria. The first implication that you should know is that the supply chain for crude oil, has been impacted. When the supply chain for crude oil is impacted, meaning that the oil production, the amount of oil that moves from producers to supplier has been cut down because these goods can no longer pass through. So the implication is that the demand is going to be higher than the supply. And by economic principles, that means the cost of crude oil will grow up. And to corroborate what I just said, in the first weekend following, the war, you see that there was a 20% increase in the price of crude oil. And the Monday that followed, there was another 20% increase in the price of crude oil. So the implication of that is that fuel in Nigeria goes on from 800 and something naira to over 1,000 naira. If this war were to go, extend into several more weeks, my prediction is that crude oil price could go as much as 2,000 naira per barrel. May we not experience that. In other places like Australia, crude oil price is already hovering towards $4 per liter of oil. And the way Nigerian economy works, the moment fuel price goes up, the cost of goods and services will increase because transportation is going to increase. Food commodity price will increase. If transportation increase and food commodity price increase, definitely there is a kind of inflation that is triggered, meaning that the war going on in Iran has a far-reaching implication even on people in Nigeria and the rest of the world. Your salary has not increased. You don't earn in dollar, you earn in naira, but yet the prices of commodities have increased. How does this not lead to issues of the mind? You see where we are going? Because families, when financial stress begin to set in, the mind is affected. I want to believe that in this part of the world, one of the causes of high blood pressure or the things that causes issues of the mind, especially for men, is economic reasons, financial reasons, the inability to meet their financial obligations. Hyperinflations or increase in the cost of commodities always affect, the mental health of men if not properly catered for. But that's at an individual level. So we have seen the implication for both the country and individuals. So let me also say that for every warring situation, for every disaster, for every plague, there is always a window of opportunity. There is always something that can be done. The first thing I want to call our attention to is that as a nation, are we thinking? As a nation, are we learning anything from this ongoing war? Imagine a nation is able to withstand two superpowers attacking them, bombarding them day and night, left and front. And a country at the middle is able to withstand them to such an extent. The question is, the war, the basic war that we are fighting internally with the bandits and the terrorist fundamentalist groups in this country, how far have we been able to go with that? During the war between Russia and Ukraine, Iran supplied Russia with their drone technology, the military technology called the Shahed drones. These drones, Russia utilized this drone technology to hit a lot of targets and wreak a lot of havoc in Ukraine. Today, Russia is providing intelligence to Iran. Why does Iran need this? Iran's Air Force and Navy has almost been destroyed by the United States. So they need intelligence, from somewhere else that is out of the reach of the United States. So Russia has been helping in that regards. But as Russia is helping Iran, Ukraine has also decided to help the United States. Wow. Someone is asking, how can Ukraine help United States? Ukraine is supplying the United States with what they called bullet drones. Bullet drones is the new latest technology invented by the Ukrainians during the war. And with the help of this, US will be able to destroy a number of, the Shahed drones coming from Iran. Why is this very important? Ukraine has data. They have seen the Shahed drones wreak havoc in their own country, and they developed, this kind of technology that can counter it. They have the experience, they have the data, and they have converted this information into technology, into a kinetic technology for combat. As a nation in Nigeria, where are we in terms of science and technology? Where are the drones manufactured in Nigeria? Every weekend, we are busy attending one Owambe function or the other. And we use imported drones to get area views of our parties. But where are the drones that are created, made in Nigeria, even for recording during parties, let alone drones that can be used to engage in kinetic combat? This is a call for action that Nigeria as a nation, we should begin to rise. We should rise, to the modern challenges of technology. Just a matter of weeks ago, the United States already had a deal with a major artificial intelligence company to use large language models to control weapons, to control missiles. That means that they don't necessarily have to send men to handle some of these things. AI can be used to engage in kinetic combat. This will definitely reduce, the possibility of US soldiers dying in combat, in battles. Let us ask ourselves the question in whether we want to look at ourselves as Nigerians or as Africans. If we were to engage in any form of battle today, will this not be tantamount to annihilation when we are not able to deploy modern technologies, for kinetic means? So this is a window of opportunity for us as a nation to begin to reinvent ourselves, to push forward. We don't need to constitute a threat to the world. We are not investing in nuclear weapons. It is okay to invest in nuclear energy as an alternative form of energy. However, there are other little technologies. Imagine we had drone technologies. US was supplying us with drones not too long ago. Imagine we could make drones, fish out where terrorists are hiding and take them out in a matter of hours, then Nigeria can fully raise its shoulder as the giant of Africa. Let us look at ourselves as individuals, whether we like to admit it or not, okay? There is an impact on USD, dollar is going to rise, and our economy, in fact, is rising already, and our economy is highly dollarized. We're a consuming nation. We always import goods and services. We also import fuel. We always need to buy dollars. So if dollar rises, there is inflation in the country. As price of crude oil is also rising, the price of petroleum is responding accordingly. And this is going to cause food inflation and other types of forms of inflation. The implication for us as individuals, I think it may be too late to do a lot of things right now because the war is ongoing and the impact is happening. But do you know that if we are practicing at least subsistence farming, you have no worry on the rise in dollar to buy food, the implication on food, when you pluck food from your own gardens or from your farm. Another thing is, what kind of training are we giving our children? We are in the era where everybody is on TikTok and social media. Children are using ChatGPT to do their homework. But the ChatGPT was created by advanced science and technology. And the TikTok was created, and all the other social media platforms were developed by software engineers in these developed countries. I was speaking with someone and the person said, oh, well, this science thing that you guys are always talking about, but we have people making money from TikTok. I was ashamed. I don't want to raise the next generation that the only way they can make money is from TikTok. Many of these technologies are used by the Western world to gather our data. When they gather our data, they also use these technologies to control our mind. They know what every one of us is doing in our digital lives. We can hide from ourselves. We cannot even hide from them. And when they want to push an agenda, they are able to push these agendas through, these social media platforms. We need technological sovereignty as a nation. But the nation cannot have technological sovereignty when every parent is raising their kids to be average. We need to raise children that will be excellent in mathematics, who will be excellent in sciences, in physics, in chemistry, in biology, and so on and so forth. This way we can rise up among the League of Nations. Yes, we are already developing some brains in economics. But what is the economics when you don't have science and technology? It will just look like a mere theoretical exercise or academic exercise. When you know what to do, but you don't know how to do it, economics will guide us on what to do. Technology will help us to know how to do it. So as individuals, we need to rise to the occasion. If we want Nigeria to be great again, we need to raise children. We ourselves need to rise to the challenge. But concerning the ongoing war, if we don't want this war to linger on and cause issues of the mind, I want to appeal to us. Don't take sides, but pray concerning this war, that this war should come to an end. Pray for those who have lost their lives. Pray for every family who have lost loved ones. Some people will want to retaliate. Some people will want the war to continue. But as the war continues, people will keep dying on both sides. Let's pray and hope that this war come to an end very soon, so that it does not become the Third World War and it does not become a war on our minds. Thank you, and see you next time.